Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today is the third lecture of CDP. We will continue with CSS selectors from the last lecture. I will create a link. By default, if I click on this link, it will open in the same browser window or tab. So do you know how to make it open in the new tab? Target. Good. So there's an attribute target is equal to underscore blank. So if I give target is equal to underscore blank, what it will do is it will open it in the next tab. And similarly, just if I refresh it, now it opens in the new tab. And this should be the rule for any external links. For example, somebody has landed on your website and you have linked to some other resource, should not move out of your website. I mean, if somebody clicks it and it opens in the same window, what he will do is he will forget your website and he will just jump onto that one. So if, for example, if it has opened in a new tab, you can always come back to that tab where your website is. Now, for example, I have 2 or 3 similar links. And some of them are relative. For example, they will be, for example, about us.html and mission.html, about us, mission. How will these 3 links display on the browser if I just refresh it? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
How will they display? Inline, because these are inline elements, right? Any suggestion? I want all of them to be on its own line.
BR.
Yes. What else?
Display हम block करेंगे सर.
Shabas. What else? One of the ways is to move, and it actually is quite a norm as well. If I, for example, move all of these into UL and LIs, UL close, then LIs, and move each of these into their respective LIs.
Sir, CSS में कोई property नहीं है.
That is display block, but markup at times is very essential as well. For example, we can style LIs to as well as A, so it will give extra styling to these elements. LI, move the second one as well. And the third one as well. Is it fine?
Yes,
So we delete this one.
sir. Now the A will take as a block.
A itself is not blocked still, but because Li is blocked, so it will behave as if it is in the. This is a very good question actually. I will demo it in a while. Okay, so your concept will be much clearer. So now these are in their own lines, but because of being encapsulated inside the LIs, that's the only reason, not because of any CSS right now. Okay, now I want the external links. External links are those which are pointing to some other website, your absolute links, to have its own color, and the normal ones should have, for example, I want the external ones to be red and the local ones to be, relative ones to be, for example, green. So for this we will use attribute selectors in CSS. So A target is equal to underscore blank color, means color, text color, right? Red. Font bold. In real world, maybe you might have seen this icon. Something like this.
Yes.
So in real world we will use it, but as we haven't yet used background images or something like this, we are just changing the color of it. So for example, let's go to Google, it is an external link, so we will use that icon with it. But right now we have just used this CSS, color red, font bold. Let me just quickly Google if I have target is equal to underscore blank background yellow. Target is equal to this background yellow. Sorry. Do you see what the error is? Anybody, Shabas? No. We are. I was just thinking about it. We haven't changed the blanks here. So we will just remove the target attributes for it, because this is normal. Right, by default it will open in its own target, right?
Yes.
Now only the one which actually is pointing to external website, that is red, and all other links are normal, right? Now if I want all the other links to be green, for example, so we can just give some CSS property like A. One thing get used to is you need to get used to is A space this is, these are known as code standards, coding standards. This is absolutely right, A with no space at all. Even this is fine. If I write, for example, some CSS like this, color red, but this doesn't look good or readable. So what you can do is you can just always have some spaces. Drupal has its own rules, but for now just follows this A space and this. So color green. Now it will make all the links green. Fine. This is one of the ways. But for example, I have other attributes on the page and I want it to style differently. We can use the not operator as well. CSS not selector. So this is colon not and then something. So W3 schools is very helpful. I have previously mentioned it as well. So we can use colon not and then any selector, not selector, colon not selector, right? So we can use this colon not, and inside we can use any of the. So for example, this is a selector. You will have to give a full selector here. So not a blank, and we will give it color yellow, font dash weight bold. This is font dash weight. Okay, now what does this mean? Which is not blank, make it bold.
Yes, sir.
Which is the target of which is not blank,
Yes, sir.
make those
Bold.
links.
Color.
Yeah. And this is hangama in the. Again, please let me know about the problem.
Yes, sir.
What's the problem?
Sir ji, without the target blank, I'll have a color yellow and with a font.
Yeah,
yellow.
because all of the
Yes, sir, all of it.
elements are not these,
Exactly. Yes, sir.
right? So that's why it has made.
Pointing.
So what we can do is we can use a not, and even if we remove this, hopefully things will be fine, right? So all those A's which don't have the target of blank,
Yes, sir.
make them yellow. So what we can do is, when will this A apply? Anybody? If we have some other A's, let me copy to more. We will give it a target of self इस पे apply नहीं होगा. yes, because it's still not target that. So वही इसको precedence ले रहे हैं. यहाँ से आप इसको पता कर सकते हैं. You can just inspect and then move on to CS. Have you guys practiced on this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So A has been applied, but it's cut out because this is taking precedence, right? So if we uncheck it, so all of these then will take effect, the green ones, because this one is more specific
Yes, sir.
than this one.
So hiding, sir.
Yeah, exactly. So this is very clear. You can use pseudo. These are called. You can go to pseudo elements and selectors. These are pseudo classes on W3 schools. Some of them are very, mostly used. For example, first child. Let me create another UL and LIs. And remove these A's, and we will just make some Pakistan cities. Karachi, Lahore, bar. And we will give UL a class of, for example, park cities. Why are we giving it a class? Shabas? Because we want to target it
Yes, sir.
differently than the other ULs on the page, right?
Yes, sir.
So now what we'll do is, I want the first child. This is known as first child of this UL. Karachi is the first child and Quetta is the last child. I want both of these to have different styling, right? So how would we target it? For this, first of child is used, this one.
Let's try one last time.
So in CSS, UL, which UL? Dot park cities, and then li first child, this one. Even VS Code will help you with all of these. So UL, which UL? UL which has the class of park cities, and then the first child of it, like the first li of it. Font dash color, sorry, color just purple, font dash weight, bold, border 20 pixel, solid, sorry, 2 pixel is fine, 2 pixel, solid, red, and a padding of say 5 pixel, right? So park cities is a UL which has its first child, and we have given this styling to it. Let me confirm if the class is park cities. Park cities, yes. Where is our page? So the first one is Karachi, and it has all that styling, right? Now the last child, so we'll just copy the CSS to save some time. This is RGB color. Right? So we can then you can have even and odd selectors, I think so. That's one of the ways of, for example, you want every second element to have a background of say gray, okay? So what you will do is even odd selectors CSS. Probably this is one of the newer ways of it, but there used to be some 2n or something like that which would do it, but we will just copy this one for now. So UL dot park cities li and child is a selector, it's a pseudo selector as well, and then odd. We'll give it a background dash color gray. So every odd is it now has a background of gray.
So it will select all the odd.
Yes, 135. And if I, for example, light gray, you might have seen some tables on the web with similar colors. So this is one of the techniques. Even. Is it fine? And if I remove all the borders from the CSS, it will start looking a bit better. Now you know how to do it. Just remove the borders. Right. Even you can use hex colors or RGBA colors with even lesser difference between the two colors, so it will have a background like this. So I think we are done with the selectors. You can search yourself as well for different types of selectors, and with experience you will know a lot, right? Inshallah, when we will be making a layout, so all of these techniques will come into play, right? But these are basics which are very important. Nobody remembers exact syntax. For example, if I have always to use this nth child, I will always Google it, but I know there is something which exists, right? So you don't need to memorize things. It will only be, I mean, just practice. If you need it, you will just search it and use it. But you need to know that something exists which I can use. That's the technique. Even if somebody has 20 years of experience, he will do the same. If a day Google doesn't work, he will not be able to be on the top of his skill set, right? And there is no shame in it if somebody is say 15 years experience developer and he's googling things. Nobody remembers by heart. Okay, so next is units. This is very important. You should be, I mean, 100% listening to it. Okay, pixels, em and rems, and percentages also. I will create a new page. A few dummy paragraphs. You should also install something like lorem ipsum whatever, so that you have something for practice. A few paragraphs. If I open this page in the browser now, so this is the default styling for it. Default, and it comes from browser's default styles. I mean, if this P has some size, whatever it is because of the default styling in the browser. Okay, we will create a style tag. If I give it a font size of 20 pixels, sorry. So all the P's will have 20 pixel styling. And this is very straightforward. I mean, if you give it 40, it will be 40. If you give it 80, and pixel probably is one of the units of the screen sizes, right? So it's very simple. I mean, if you give it 60, so the size of it will be 60, right? It's very, very straightforward. But the other ones, which are rems and ems and percentages, that's a bit tricky. So for example, if I give it font size of 100%, and inspect it, you can always come to computed. So here you will see 16 pixels. We have just given it 100%, but the computed styles are those which are evaluated by the browser and shown to you. So we have just given it 100%, but they are being shown as 16 pixels. Why is it so? Anybody?
So by default it will take that font size.
Exactly. There is a default size for something in the HTML page, and the percentage is taken from that, right? So for example, I will give one more style here, and that is HTML tag. We can give some styles to HTML as well, which is the root element of the page, root element. So for example, if I give it a font size of say 24 pixels, the font size is 24. Browser actually does default styling for either HTML or body probably, but that's the default style now. For example, we have overwritten it. It means whatever is in the HTML, the base HTML tag should have 24 pixels. So everything will be based on this now. So if I say font size 100%, what does this mean? 24 pixels.
24 pixels.
Now if you check, the font size is 24, the computer, because if I make it 50%, what will it be?
24 pixels.
12, Shabas. Because it is now of this percentage, right? So it will be 12. This is 12. So percentages work as per parents, right? And HTML is the top root level element. So for example, can anybody tell me what is the advantage of it? For example, I have many other paragraphs also here. Not paragraphs, but some headings, some LIs or whatever, right? For example, H2s. Some UL. Let me copy those ULs from CSS Selectors. And some A's. And refresh the page. This is zoomed out, that's why the font sizes are bigger. But can anybody tell me why are there no styling here, which we had applied there?
So we haven't yet given the styling.
Exactly, because it doesn't have that style. It was on the page for CSS selectors.
Separate page.
Okay. Have you people ever seen in a website some buttons here with plus signs? Plus, minus. For example, if my eyesight is not very good,
Yes.
so I will click on the one of the buttons plus,
Yes.
and the whole elements will have a bigger size, font size.
Yes.
Why is it in sync with that just one button? Because internally this is happening. For example, I have allies and the font size is, for example, 75%, and A's has a font size of say 100%. I'll make it 100%. What does this mean? Li will have 75% of this size, and P's have 50% of this size, and A's have 100% of this size, right?
Yes.
So if I just refresh this page, all of these links are now different. This is 100% of the base HTML size. If I go to the computed, it is
18 pixels.
now again this is something for you. Shabas. Computed is 18. 14. This is a question for you. Why are these 18?
Because it's 75%. It's a 75% of 24 pixels.
Good. So it becomes
18.
18 pixels.
Yes.
And A's also of
All are 24.
18%.
Why
A is
A's are
yes, this is my actually question. This is my question. A is 100%, but here it is 18%.
because it is quoted in allies. So
Shabas, well done. Because it takes this percentage from the parent.
Yes.
Actually, if parent's size has reduced because of whatever, so it has children. Children will have its sizes of the parent, and then parent takes its sizes from the whole HTML element. Right? This can get trickier, but the thing is that concept is. For example, if that button I was talking to you, a plus sign. If somebody clicks plus sign, so this, for example, becomes 36. With that plus sign, the HTML font size becomes 36. So what do you expect of all these? Shabas. Because
does not have 18 pixels.
yeah, so all of these elements will change its size as well because this has increased. So that's the advantage of these percentages. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So if I refresh it, so all of these have increased its sizes as per the parent. You can practice it. Now I will remove these and then we have M's. They are called M's. So for example, the font size is 24 24 pixels, and P will have 1 size. Font size 1 This is very tricky. Of all the CSS measurements, this one EM is a bit tricky. So what are you expecting of it?
Refers to the parent, not the parent also. So for example, HTML is the parent and it's 24 pixels
Yeah,
and font size 1 EM, so it means it will be 24 pixels.
exactly. So these are P's. If I just inspect it and go to computed, one difference in styles, you see it is 1 right? But if I go to computed, here it will show the actual font size, which is 24 pixels. So Osim was right. 1 em means 100% of it. 1 em. If I say 2 em, what it will be? Yeah. So what will 24 multiplied by 2? It will be 48 pixels. Let's try this. And the computed value will be 48, right? But again, it has that problem of parent referring. So if I move this p to the div tag, let me move this the first paragraph sort of. Let us practice this. Let us move first paragraph inside the div. Now this is because paragraph will always be inside some element, right? Not in the root of the document. If I refresh it, no evident change for now. But if I class is equal to say first, why am I giving this a class, Shabas? To target it. And first has I will say 75% font size. What I mean by this is that this div should have 0.75 em, for example. So what is the root size? 24. This div, anything inside this div will have a size of this one, 0.75. Now I have given piece a size of 2em. This is your quick assignment. Let me know what will be the computed size of paragraph, this paragraph, inside the first, Shavas.
18 pixels.
It's 2em. We have given the piece 2em. This one.
36.
Let me just refresh it first. This size is smaller than this, but we have given piece the same CSS. I mean, this 2em is applied to this CSS also, as well as this one.
Yes, 36 pixels.
But visually they are different. What's the reason, Shabas?
We would like.
Sir, you could tell the parent styling also.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Exactly, just like the div, the percentage. What happens is, let me go to the code. What happens is, this first div takes this styling, 0.75 em, right? So what is 0.75 of this? 18,
18 pixels.
right? So what it makes is, I mean, this is 18. Just let us calculate it. Now dot first will have 18 pixel of this, and now p comes. So p has styling of 2em. So 18 multiplied by 2, 36. So if we check it, it will be. If we inspect it, computed. So this is 36. The font size is 36 because it has taken initially its sizing from the div, which is its parent, and then this here it will show 2em, 2em, because this styling hasn't changed. But it depends upon its parent now. So I hope this is clear.
Yes.
But in a very last, my experience in a very last site, I mean, manipulating this thing is very tough. I mean, you will get lost at the end of the day doing all these calculations. So this is good for responsive design. Actually, responsive design is, for example, if something is good on the desktop, on mobiles we will have a smaller size.
Yes.
So it has its use cases, but still what people these days use is rems, because it gets confusing. For example, if I give another div inside first, here div class is equal to second, make it class is equal to second, and it has another p. And we also give another nested div, third, and it has also a p. And in second you give it, for example, 50.5, second, and this is third. .35 em. Is this fine? So the first has a font size of 0.75 em. The second has 0.5 em, and the third one is this. So do you expect any changes in whole of this? Like this is even seriously getting worse. And in a very large size, if you are maintaining EMs and you don't have the concept right, similar things will happen. Like things will be out of proportion for you. So you can just inspect all of this yourself and practice too. But the problem is nesting makes EMs, the use of EMs, very tough. So what we'll do is we will change all of it into rems. For now, if we just change it to rem, everything will be back to normal. So you can take the rems as such that those parents are taken out of the proportion. Everything becomes dependent on the main HTML element. That's it. Now all these percentages, rems, whatever, P will always take this, even if it is inside any parent. But previously it was dependent on the parent sizing.
Yes.
Because these, we have given the parents these sizes. What it will do is it will just make all of these insignificant. So even if they are lying inside the parents, these styling are not applied. These are applied to the divs, right? But this will take precedence. Is this clear?
Yes.
So we will be using rems in our designs, inshallah. Hopefully this is clear. Let me just make them red.
So we have two other viewers, VH and VW.
Yes, we will use them in responsive design, inshallah.
For height and width, yes.
Viewport.
Yes, yes.
It
Viewport.
takes its width from the viewport
Yes.
and height. Now let us come to the CSS floats. How many of you have ever used floats?
Most times,
You may need to learn CSS floats because there can be a very old website where CSS floats have been used, so you will have to use the newer ways of laying out pages like flexbox and grid. But like I grew up using floats, and floats were really tough. At least you must know what elders have done in their careers. So I will create a new page, floats.html. Okay. I will create a div, class is equal to main, and then div class is equal to left column, or we will call it left. Remember, this is just a class name, so it will not give any magical sort of behavior to the page. You have to use it as a CSS class in CSS.
Selector.
Yeah, and this is right. How can I make this main a center div? Style dot main. I will give it a background of red. Dot main background dash color red, and this is the main div, and we have given it a background of red. If I open it now in the browser, do you expect to see anything?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because we don't have any content.
Content. One of the ways is to add content, and another way is to give border is fine also, height. So height makes it visible as well. For example, 500 pixels. This is that div. Now let us make it 350. Alright. Now even, can anybody tell me why is this space here?
Because by default it have a padding in margin.
Exactly. So how we are going to reset it?
So you take a static and
Margin
Or-
0.
Shabas. Star.
Yes, yes.
And for now just let us margin 0 means 0 margin from all sides.
Yes, sir.
So now it's to the edge of the page. But do you know the control minus concept? I mean, if I click on control minus, it means the screen is getting wider. So this will always stretch to the edge of the screens. Why is it so? Because by default the width is 100%. If I click on control 0, so it will bring it back to the normal. We will give it a width of, say, for now, the main div a width of 960 pixels, for example. 960 pixels. Now the width of it is 960 pixels, but this is to the left of the screen, right? So by default the every element is on the left. How to make it centered? So the trick is, okay, so we have given a width of 960 pixels to the main div, this one, but we now need to center it. So to center it, the trick is margin dash left auto, margin dash right auto. This rule, just ratify it, it will make it centered. right? And if you have got to check how good a website is, again can you just click on any of the website with control minus on your laptops? I mean control minus minus minus, it will always be centered. What does this mean is, if you are viewing a website on a very large screen, it will remain centered. If I plus it, it means on a bigger screens, sorry, on smaller screens, the plus means smaller screen.
Surface or stick side? Stick one, sir. Maybe, sir. Stick. Surface.
Okay, so this page now is, sorry, this div is centered now. Control plus, I was saying control plus means smaller screens, and control minus means larger screens. So you can practice it. If, say for example, on mobile you want to see something, so control plus will make it appear on something like mobile. So what has this div, which styles have this, these two makes a div or anything centered, or you can say it is now hanging inside the page, and the size is 960 pixels.
So what will happen if we just give it a margin auto?
Margin auto, maybe it will take in effect at the top and bottom also.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Margin 0 auto makes it the same. I mean these are two lines, so if we make it margin 0 auto, so maybe we don't need these two, it will be the same. And let us practice. I have never used this, maybe it is a strange thing. Let us try it. Maybe no effect right now, but 50%, 50%. Okay.
50 pixels.
Margin dash left.
I think auto has no effect on top and bottom.
Okay, maybe margin dash left 50%. You can practice all these yourself also. So this is the effect, but this one is widely used, this margin. I haven't used margin 0, just like Wasim is saying, but I have used margin 0 and what was it? Auto. So this has the same effect. Maybe there are articles where margin 0 is also has the same effect. Okay, now we will make two divs. We already have those divs in the left and right. So let me add a paragraph to the left. And to the right also. because if a div doesn't have any height and content, it won't appear. So that's why we have added two divs. One is two paragraphs, one is this one, another one is this one. Now if I remove the height from the main div, do you think we will have something visible? Yes, because
content is visible, yes, sir.
because now we have content inside the left and right ones. So let us remove the height, because this is normally not advised to have heights to divs, because you never know how much content will be there in the page. So if you have given say 350 pixel height and the content is more than that, it will be flowing out of it, or it will make serious problems. So let the content determine the height of the divs. That's the rule. What should be the height of the div right now? Okay, anybody? If I refresh the page, because I have removed height from the main div.
The text over.
Exactly. Got it?
Yes.
Now this is an one div. We will give it background so that you know left and right. Dot left, background dash color yellow, and the right one background dash color green or green yellow, whatever. Dot left and dot right. Is it clear? Why are we not able to see the red? Because main is the div behind these two. Why are we not able to see the red color? Anybody?
Because sir, it have a red color, but we have override it.
Yeah. How can it still has the red color,
Yes, sir.
but I want to see the red color here.
Through ZMX.
Anybody? I need a right answer for this. I need to see the red color in main. It is right now being covered by these two divs. What makes the space inside a div? How can we create space inside a div or box?
Padding, sir.
Shabas. So we will give it say a padding of 50 pixels, for example. Now you can see the div. Now I want to show the yellow one on the left side and the green one on the right side.
You will float right.
Yes, we can use both actually, but we'll make the left float left.
The left 2 by 2.
Float left. So actually, why is there no effect right now? Anybody?
Sir, by default left.
By default.
No,
The main div probably.
because we haven't given width to the left, because it stretches to the right, so we are not that is not noticed if it is on the left or not. So we'll give, for example, width (960) is the total width of the parent, right? We have given it a padding of 50. So can you guys tell me what's the actual width now? 50 is this, 50 is this, so 100,
100 is
9
so from both sides.
1060.
1060 shabas. So we have to consider that also while giving widths. But right now, let us give it a width of 200 pixels. 200 pixels. Now you will see that it is 200 pixels. Again, what is this? Why is it so that the green is here on the right?
Due to float left.
Yeah. So remember one thing. Float left creates a hangama in the page. Floats create hangama in the page. This is what I always say. This one is fine, I mean it's on the left, but the green one has stretched to the top. Also it has come out of the main, and main is not covering the height of the div, the left. I mean technically whatever is the content of the left or right divs, main should move along. So for example, either I can give a height of, say again, if I give it a height of 1000 pixels, 500 pixels. Now this covers it, but you never know how much should be the content if it is coming from a database, for example.
Yes.
You can never change your CSS as per content.
Yes.
So you will have to do something different, and that is, where is it? You will remove the height. Now we will give a float left also to the right one, and we will give it a width of, if that is 960, so we will give it 760 pixels. Is it okay? So at least we are on the, this is now 760 pixels, this is 200 pixels, total 960, and the parent is also 960, and this space is because of the padding. Now if I number one problem is this red should cover these two divs. I mean whatever is the highest height of the internal div, it should stretch itself to that. Do you agree? But now because of that floats hangama, we are not able to do it. This is known as clearing floats. You can always, there are thousands of articles on it. Clearing floats. Clearing floats was a concept, and we will now apply that. So clearing floats means this is a child div, this is a child div, both of them are floated inside a container. This is one of the techniques. So what you will do is, as the last child of the parent in which elements have been floated, what you will do is create an empty div. We will call it clear, fix or anything. Okay? So we'll create an empty div, and if we refresh it, where is it? If you refresh it, nothing visible is there, but there is now an extra div which is empty. Now in CSS, what you will do is you will target this class of the empty div. It can be anything, clear, fix, and we call and the CSS rule is clear both. This is also errata stuff, right? You will have to just, it means clear something to the right as well as to the left, but clear both. This is the rule. Now if you refresh the page, now it is normal. You got it? Yes. It is actually just like a sag, for example. It shrinks with floats if it has children which are floated, the parent container. So the clearing makes it stretch again. That's the main goal. Is it clear now? So what we have done, we have created this one, div class equal clear fix, an empty element, and then we have given this class. There are other ways of clearing fix also. If you Google, you will see a lot of them. There is a class basically which if you give, it will do it for you. But that's one of the ways I would use to do it. Now for example, I want space between these two columns, between the left and the right. So what I will do? Anybody? Space between the columns, not inside the column. Margin. I will give left margin to the green one, to the second one, right? This one, margin dash left. For example, 20 pixels. So what it will do is, it will be 20 pixel from the left. So do you think it will happen or something else will happen? Let me refresh it. So this is known as float drop, and this was the biggest problem I personally used to have always. If you do something, because floats used to be very rigid, this is very much like physical elements. For example, if the size of this table is say 960 pixels, and I have two laptops, one is 200, another is 760. If I give some space between the two, one of them will move to the last line because it doesn't have space outside. So the thing is, it has taken this to 20 pixel space, you can see it, but because now it doesn't have the parent space needed, either you will have to decrease its width. One of the ways is 20 pixel is the margin. So if I decrease width to 740, now it will be back again, and there is now space. Is this fine? The concept? But again, do you know what is Landa Balastan?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
Pateh P2.
It always used to be so. So this is Landa Balastan. If you have to increase the space, for example, now I want to have 100 pixels space between the two. So again it will come down, and again I will make the size. This will always be like this. I mean, it was so tough always, the floats. So let me make it 20 pixel again and make it 760 pixel again. Okay, probably with a fix to, and this also came very late, but I already have discussed this, box sizing, border box. So what this now makes is, it will not add up to the original. Let me just refresh it. Box sizing, border box. So padding is now part of the main container, but here margins don't have probably effect on the box sizing, so we can for now just remove it. What is for example, if 200 is the width of this, and the total width is 960, if we give it in percentages, then it becomes a bit easier. So for example, 200 pixel is 15%, the right one is 85%, and the margin is, where is margin? This one is 1%. So
It only works vertically.
yes, it has effect on vertical only.
Top and bottom.
Yeah, so let us make it 84. So 84 plus 1, 85, and 15, 100%. Now if I control minus or plus, it now is like a rubber. Got it?
Yes, sir.
If we give it hard pixels, then things are very tough at times. You can practice on it. This is not normally in use these days because Flexbox and grid system in CSS has taken over it, but at least you should know about it, what floats do. Is this enough for today or
Yes, sir.
okay? Thank you very much. Tomorrow inshallah we will cover some HTML5 elements, and we are done with this one as well. So what we studied today, CSS units and CSS floats and some CSS selectors also. Okay ji, thank you very much. See you tomorrow inshallah.